Secretary of State Marco Rubio is calling on countries across the globe to crack down on far-left political violence, highlighting recent high-profile attacks that he says is a result of far-left extremism.
We've been taught to believe that this kind of political violence, it simply doesn't exist, or it's being exaggerated. But it does exist, and we're actually underestimating it. And our nations bear the scars to prove it. A transgender shooter opening fire on Catholic elementary school students as they pray. A healthcare executive executed in cold blood in the streets. Multiple assassination attempts on a sitting president. And the murder of the greatest conservative activist of a generation. This is a distinctive and unique evil.
Fox News contributor and senior writer for the Washington Examiner, Joe Concha, joins me now. Joe, good morning to you. The Secretary of State was speaking to a delegation from about 65 different countries at the opening of the State Department summit. So what are your thoughts on the Secretary focusing on this topic in front of a global audience?
It's very interesting, and it's very needed, Carly. There's this one poll that comes out from Rutgers University, all right, came out last year, but it's so disturbing, and it just bears to be highlighted in front of this audience and anybody else who may be watching, as far as 56% of those who vote Democrat believe that the assassination of President Trump would be at least, quote, somewhat justified, unquote. Think about that. A majority of people from a certain persuasion here in this country believe that the sitting president of the United States, if he were taken out, well, that probably is the right thing to do. And that's just obviously a very, very big bowl of wrong. I just think in the end, you know, the Secretary of State laid that out pretty well. There is a pattern here. There's no question about it. I mean, Charlie Kirk assassinated 10 months ago at Utah Valley University, and you see, especially online, people celebrating the murder of a father of two very young children, while he was debating people and doing what the First Amendment is supposed to be all about in terms of the open exchange of ideas and perspectives. Just a couple of blocks from our studio there in New York, Carly, as the Secretary of State mentioned, Chris Thompson, shot from behind, allegedly by a guy named Luigi Mangione, and the guy has now raised over $1 million on GoFundMe because people think that what he did was justified. So this is becoming a new normal, and unless this reverses on an international level, not just here, it's only going to get worse, Carly.
One more example when it comes to this, look no further than Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who just said this. Watch.
But I'm going to remind everyone in this room and all the media that I was the subject of an assassination attempt February 2024 by an addled left-wing activist 2 hours after being sworn into my job. So any of you who want to report that this is a fiction and does not exist, be there for the sentencing this August.
And also another poll, Joe, from September found that 15% of Democrats, 25% of very liberal adults feel violence is justified to achieve political goals. How is this happening and why? That number should be zero.
Yeah, exactly. I think social media obviously just stirs up this hatred more and more, and that's just the way it goes. I think there's a lot of TDS out there where people say, okay, well, that party is not that we disagree with their ideas, right? That they're evil and therefore must be stopped. And Scott Bessent, I'm sure a lot of people are hearing that for the first time, that, you know, there was an assassination attempt on him. And then let's not forget the Supreme Court members who probably, you know, shouldn't be living in public places because of what happened with Brett Kavanaugh and the assassination attempt on him. So, yeah, this is just something that I wonder how it's going to reverse itself because it just seems like it's increasing more and more, and that is extremely unfortunate. You're right, Carly. That number should be 0.0.
Yeah, absolutely. And two of those Supreme Court justices, Elena Kagan and Amy Coney Barrett, were on Capitol Hill this week asking for more security funding because of those politically motivated violent threats. It is a very concerning topic, to say the least. Joe, we do have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.